Hello, and welcome to another Elevated Marketing Chat, where we discuss data-driven digital marketing strategies that help your business grow. My name is Jennifer Denny. I am the owner of Elevated Marketing Solutions, and we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics today, how to measure the success of your digital marketing. Things have certainly changed, and they've changed lightning fast here in the last year. So we are live on multiple channels. If you want to learn more about us, you can check us out on elevatedmarketing.solutions. So let's get started, and I want to start with our quote of the day. So let me get that up on the screen. So difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. And I love this quote because when you think about it, you have difficult things that happen to you, and your instant response is to feel defeated. And man, why am I getting it so rough? Why are all these things happening to me? And we really kind of view it as a negative. And I feel like this quote really turns it into a positive. Difficulties strengthen your mind, and when you have difficulty situations and you overcome those, then you just get that much stronger. So, be happy with the difficulties because they're going to make you stronger. Overcome them as they come at you, and life will just get easier. And I think that really goes into today's topic. Like, how do you measure the success of digital marketing? And this used to be a lot easier subject to talk about, and it just used to be more straightforward, and it's just not anymore. And in reality, I really don't think it was ever that straightforward. But there was this time in the history of kind of digital marketing where we would say that you could measure directly which was the better channel, for digital marketing, or this channel's performing the best, or that channel. And when I talk about channels, I'm talking about like your Google ads or your Facebook ads or your SEO. And there was this big conversation about the ROI of your digital marketing and how it was completely measurable and trackable. And, there was some truth to that when that came about, but there was also a lot of not truthful information about that. The reality is there is tons of types of marketing, both online and offline, and there's tons of different types of digital marketing, and they all work together. It wasn't ever the very last beer that you drank that, got you drunk. It was all the beers. And we need to look at that when we look at marketing and measuring ROI. There's a lot of issues that kind of go into this that gave that illusion that you could, in fact, know exactly what caused it. And I think some of this is caused by, maybe somebody that only did Google ads, or, somebody that was only a Facebook marketer, or somebody that was only an SEO. And the reality is that you really need, many forms of marketing to get to that last desired action that you're looking for. So that form fill, that phone call, or the actual sale. And in the marketing world, we call that a conversion. So let's take a look at, why we have kind of gotten to this, mindset that the ROI is completely trackable when we get to digital marketing and in just marketing in general. Like, I really feel like when you use a oversimplistic data attribution, that's where you get yourself in trouble. Like, you could have the biggest mistake. And I think that really roots in some of, the free platforms that are out there. So for instance, you've got Google Analytics. Almost everybody has Google Analytics. It's a highly used platform, but it has a lot of problems in actually telling the story on what's working and what's not working. So when you're inside of Google Analytics, you have all these different channels like your social, your email, organic traffic, and you can really kind of, track all this traffic coming into the website. But what it does a really poorly job of is it assigns credit or attribution to the very last channel that somebody interacts with you. And, like I said earlier, that's a huge fallacy that can cause you to make really bad decisions on deciding what marketing is working or not. Again, it's not the very last thing that you do that got you drunk. It was all the beers. And so you need to look at each individual channel and look at the individual metrics that make that channel successful. Like, just to give an example, email marketing. There's a lot of stats that you can look at that, we just did a chat on what can make email marketing successful. But if email marketing is not the last thing that people do before they convert, that doesn't mean that it's not valuable and it's not helping, along the way. They say you need to see anywhere from 4 to 8 marketing messages before you actually convert. So if you're using Google Analytics and you're looking at those different channels that are available inside of there, and you're looking at it and you're like, wow, Google Ads has all of the conversions. Let's just shove more money in Google Ads and we'll get more sales. That's not actually true. Because if you think about the function of even Google Ads, when I am going and directly searching for your products and services, and I serve up a Google ad and I get clicked on, you are at the very end of the funnel. So we should see a lot more conversions happening when we're looking in Google Analytics attributed to Google Ads. That doesn't mean shoving more money into it, though, is going to get you more conversions. The reason for that is you have to kind of look at the marketing funnel. You need so many people up at the top who are first introduced to your brand. They've never heard of you before. To the middle of the funnel, they've heard of you before, but maybe they're trying to decide if your product or service is a good fit for you. All the way down to that Google Ads, Bing Ads, they're ready to buy, and you're available right then and there when they Google. So all these different forms of marketing work together to get to that final, conversion. And then you have to splice it up into, from there, if you're a B2B business, that lead is going over to a salesperson, and then they have their own funnel that they have to kind of get through in order to push somebody through. Now, if you're an e-commerce client, yes, it's going to be a little bit shorter, but it's still not going to be this instant if I just put all of my money into Facebook ads or Google ads or SEO or content or email, that you're going to get that instant gratification of knowing in Google Analytics that this is the channel that works the best, because they all work together. So having that overly simplistic data attribution inside of Google Analytics and it going to the very last thing that you do could really hurt your decision making when we're talking about what type of marketing to do, and what type of marketing not to do. So there are some other platforms out there, though, that seem to tell this story that they can tell the marketing attribution better than Google Analytics. And there's some pluses and minuses with these platforms that are out there that they can tell a little bit better of a story. For instance, they have the ability to not only credit everything to the last channel, but do what's called like a multi-touch channel and give credit to multiple channels. So that makes the picture a little bit better and can make it all better to kind of look at. The problem with some of these platforms is you have to be able to budget that into your marketing budget, that you need additional platforms. And, there's a lot of training that goes into those. And it's not just this magic eraser that if I just buy this platform, I'm going to have this 100% trackable ROI. That just doesn't exist. So let's talk about some of the things that have made it even worse here in 2021. So a lot of things have happened. First of all, prior to 2021, there has been this trend with GDPR. So if you're in the marketing world or the business world and you haven't heard of GDPR, basically, it's the concept that a user online should be able to opt out of being tracked. And so when we have that in certain laws in certain countries, certain states of the United States have these GDPR rules, they are allowing the consumer to opt out of the tracking that we have, held on to for so long to understand that this channel or that channel is perhaps performing. So not only do we have this, it takes multiple, touches of marketing, it's gotten more complicated by adding GDPR. And that happened back, 2020, 2019. Then in 2021, Apple basically got rid of the IDFA. And what that was a identifier for advertisers that worked similar to when somebody was on a desktop and there were these cookies that could track information of where people were going from one source to the other. Well, Apple killed that. So that means that if you access any type of marketing through any type of app, that is no longer trackable. That's huge. Because when we think about the, number 2 and number 3 source of where people are hanging out online, we're looking at YouTube and we're looking at Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, and all these places are mostly accessed on a mobile device on an app. And Apple has basically said no more of this IDFA. You're no longer going to be able to track when somebody gets to your website from an app without asking for permission first. So currently the stats are that when somebody is on a Apple device or an iPhone, and they are presented the option of whether or not to track or not be tracked by an app, let's just say, LinkedIn ads, 97% of people are opting out. So what that means is that attribution that you were able to get before, that somebody saw an ad and then they actually converted later, is disappearing. Right now, with the current standards, they actually have to fill out that form, make that phone call, or whatever your conversion is within 7 days, or it doesn't get counted at all. So that causes a huge mess in being able to understand and measure your success of your digital marketing if on half of mobile devices we can no longer attribute it to a certain source. So in the grand scheme, there are a lot of different things that are going on that make it almost impossible to really track somebody from a click all the way down to the final conversion and know what source created that. Fancy platforms are not going to be able to solve this problem for you because, Apple is changing things. Google is also changing things. So they were going to get rid of the cookie, how we track on a, desktop. And they have now pushed that out, to 2022, or actually, I think it's 2023. So there's a lot going on. And, if you just simplistically look at your data and say, let's just say you have Google Analytics that, oh, yeah, everything is going to that, you're probably going to be cutting some marketing that is actually helping you more upstream. So, what's the solution? The solution currently, right now, that a lot of these major platforms are working on is predictive modeling. And so they are using certain behaviors of what somebody is doing in order to predict that conversion actually happened. Google is introducing data attribution modeling. Facebook has already come out and said that it's using some modeling and giving some credit to conversions, and so it's really getting muddier on, whether or not we can attribute it. And whether Google's reporting it or Facebook's reporting it, who's telling the truth? We don't know anymore because they're using a predictive modeling. What we do know, though, is that we can see that overall conversions, your phone call, form fill, or an actual sale, are up or down based on the marketing activities that you've done in the last month. So when it goes to tracking the success of digital marketing, what you really need to do is look at all of your activities and what's working and what's not. We really need to get away from this going after a specific channel and saying that channel is the best channel, so let's move all our money there. That is wrong. That is going to get you in some hot water on making the best decisions for your digital marketing. So as clear as mud as I can say it, bottom line, there needs to be an acceptance that there's no such thing as a 100% visibility into exactly what is bringing the best ROI. That is the world that we live in. And I think it's going to get, even less, and we're going to see more automation and more predictive modeling. So that is it for today. I know this is a big topic and complicated, and it's like, Jennifer, I just want to measure that it's actually working, and I get it. We do too. Like I said in the beginning, we're all about data-driven digital marketing decisions. And it's not completely lost, though. There are a lot of things that we can look at, individual metrics that can tell us that something is working or not working. And every single channel is going to be different on what those metrics are. So metrics are still very important. It's just that overall concept that you can tell exactly what was the channel that really made them become that client of yours. That thinking is no longer here. So If you want to follow, like, and subscribe, we would certainly appreciate that. We do put out a monthly newsletter that does have our blog or written format of our chat that we put out. We also have some tips and tricks and other items that we put in our newsletter as well. So head over to our website at elevatedmarketing.solutions and be sure to subscribe. Next time, we are heading into December, and so I really like to talk about how to plan for your 2022 digital marketing strategy. Every year, you need to be looking into what's new, what's out, and how can I be ready for all the changes that are coming about. And today's show is a big change, and so we have to adjust and we have to move forward with where should we put our digital marketing dollars. So thanks for joining me today, and I will see you next time on December 9th. Take care.